Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. What do I got? May 16th. It's about 1300 my time, 1400 for this guy. And I am here with Hollywood's own Kirk Paulsen.
Now you're from Molokai, right, Kermit? At
Yeah,
one
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't remember the town in Molokai, but I do remember that.
No, it's close enough for me, man. I mean, Molokai is not big where town really makes a difference.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So where do you live these days, Kirk? I know, but they don't know.
Marietta, Georgia. Been here
Okay.
for 21 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you are officially fully retired?
Fully retired. Absolutely. There's a difference between partial and fully. I am fully retired. Yes.
Okay. Since when?
I retired from the Air Force in 2001, and I retired from the Department of Defense as a civilian in 2014.
Oh, so you've been fully retired for a while.
Hey, living the life.
Right on. Yeah. Of course, probably don't hear surfs up in Marietta too often, but
No, I went to Australia last May, the month of May, with Keikoa, my brother, and literally for the whole month of May, and we went to the Great Barrier Reef and we did some snorkeling and we did some swimming in other places, but no surf. There was no surfing.
see now, I don't know, maybe I've been reading the wrong stories, but when I hear Great Barrier Reef, I don't even want to get wet.
Everything that can get you in the water, that can get you or make you really sick, is in Australia.
Oh,
But
thanks a lot. Yeah.
but no, but I got a story about that. I don't want to get too far into stuff, but so we arranged this tour, and so we caught a boat. We went down this river, uh, and we saw crocodiles and everything. So we get out to this island, and those of us that signed up to do the snorkeling tour of the Great Barrier Reef, they took us by boat an hour, excuse me, a mile out, and we had to snorkel in back into the island. And so on the way out, Kermit, on the way out, they said we're going to have you fill out this form. We want to get an idea what your level of experience swimming is, and it went from master all the way to novice. And so yeah, I'm thinking I'm a teenager. I grew up on the beach in Haleiwa. I checked master. Keikoa, who lives in Haleiwa and swims almost every day, he checked the one below master. Oh man! And so we get out to the boat took us a mile out. I'm the first one in the water, first one's in the water, and I see a shark about, I don't know, 30, 40 feet away. And so I come back to the boat. I said, oh, by the way, you guys, there's a shark right over here. These two Japanese girls that had the vests and everything on, they didn't go in the water. Oh, man.
Way to
So,
ruin it,
yeah,
Kirk.
I did. They went all that way to get to the barrier reef and they didn't even go in the water. Oh, man, I felt bad after that. Not real bad, but I felt a little bad.
See, and just this is daytime. I'm assuming you guys are out there
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please. The days of night diving and all that we used to do spearfishing at night. No, 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 no.
because I've got a very good friend. Went Kaimoki High School, and he was a career, now retired Coast Guard rescue swimmer.
Ooh.
And he would tell me stories, and this is back, we're probably still late 20s, maybe early 30s, back way back when we first met. And he would say they would chopper them out at midnight. They're blindfolded. So they don't even know where out in the ocean they're going. And then
Gee.
then they drop them out and the helicopter heads back to base.
Oh,
And I'm going, okay, it's freaking midnight. You have no idea what direction you need to
oh
go.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we used
Uh,
to do night diving, you go out there with a flashlight, and if you turn in one direction and the other person turns the other, if you're sharing the light, which we did on occasion, it's pitch black. You can't even see anything. I mean, we're in their turf. Ooh, not good.
uh,
Not good. Mm.
Okay, let's grab our starting point, and I know this, so I'll probably answer for you. You started Kamehameha seventh grade with me, right?
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, so kindergarten to sixth grade, where you in school?
Uh, Kindergarten to third grade, we were was in California. My mom was a teacher. Um,
So were you born on the mainland?
yes. I don't know how much detail you want, Kermit, but I just found this out as an adult. But my mom and dad met. My mom was from Hawaii. Graduated 55 from Kamehameha. She went to this Colorado Teachers College, which is now Northern Colorado University. She met my dad there. Got pregnant. Okay, this is probably TMI, but and back then it was kind of scandalous. 19-year-old from Hawaii, first time leaving Hawaii, got pregnant, and they went to Vegas, got married, went back to Iowa where he was from, got married, and I was born in Iowa. Never lived there, but my dad's family's from Iowa, and uh,
Mm.
and so I was raised. Then we were in California, moved to Oregon, and in before the fourth grade year, I moved back to we moved to Haliva.
Okay, so where did you go to school fourth grade?
Haliva Elementary, fourth grade, Kaala Elementary in Wahiwa, fifth and sixth.
Were you wanted, or why were you moving around so much?
Well, my mom was so upset with Haliva Elementary. I mean, it was terrible, and I remember that. My teacher barely spoke English, as I remember. She's Japanese, and my mom. Anyway, as an educator, she was really disappointed. So she moved us. She moved me to Kaala. And Keikoa, meanwhile, he went to Kamehameha in his third grade year.
Oh wow, I didn't realize he had attended that long.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
Okay. So before you got to seventh grade, um, you share schools with any of our classmates?
You know what? I don't think they ended up graduating. Kay Travis, her nickname was Cancer for a reason, and it wasn't an astrological sign. um, I don't think she graduated. And then Paul Lacerdo, do you remember that name?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So those two.
I think Paul graduated.
I'm not sure, Kermit. I don't remember.
So when you got to seventh grade, Kay Travis was there because I don't recognize the name.
I think she may have been just for that seventh grade year. I think she was kicked out.
Oh,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I think Paul is still up around the Wahiwa area.
Okay.
I've seen
Huh.
his presence on Facebook, and he some of the backgrounds really look like uh Wahiwa. So
Yeah, I'm sure. That's where he's from. Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense.
So we survived Kamehameha 6 years for you and I.
Yes.
The day after graduation, what do you start doing? What's your plan?
My plan was I wanted to be a hotel manager. So I got accepted to University of Hawaii Travel Industry Management, the school of TIM. And I went there full of excitement and energy and hope. And it turned out to be not anything I wanted to do, and I was struggling. So I went to UH for 2 years, and uh, I had signed up for my junior year, and the classes were terrible. I'd waited to the last minute to actually get registered for classes, and so I got just the last. The classes nobody wanted,
Hmm.
and I dropped all my classes, and I went back to the North Shore. And I thought my mom would welcome me open arms. You can just serve. Don't worry about getting a job or getting an education. She said, get a job or get out of the house. And I had passed by this Air Force recruiter many times off of Kamehameha Highways, I remember. And I signed up for the Air Force.
Okay. Now let me back up because I'm curious. What generated your initial interest in becoming a hotel manager? Was it what
I
you had heard about the lifestyle, or you were in
Yeah,
it
I
a
guess
little bit, or what?
Yeah, I think so, Kermit. You know, just being around in Hawaii, obviously, the travel industry is a huge deal, and it just seemed like whenever we'd go down, and that was a big deal to go to Waikiki. You know, you might even put shoes on. You know, what you going prom? Why you have shoes on? So, you know, just being around the tourists, I guess, and the hotels and the fancy, you know, lifestyle, I felt something maybe I could might have an interest in and get excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So what year is this you sign up with the Air Force?
1978, January.
Okay. All right. Where did you do basic?
Basic training was in San Antonio, Texas. I
Lived
got
there
this
from 81 to 93.
really.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, we didn't cross paths, but yeah, I like San Antonio.
I loved it. I think that's probably next to Hawaii, my second most favorite place that I have lived in. So,
Wow, that's good to hear because I just enjoyed the time there and not basic training, but my son was playing football and he played in a bowl game in San Antonio. And when I was working as a DoD civilian, we had conferences there, and we just yeah, we just had a good time there. But um, I have to tell you, two other guys from Hawaii and me, we flew into San Antonio for basic. We were the last ones to arrive. We got there, and this is January 8th, 1978. And we got to the where the bus dropped us off. It was actually snowing. You know, it's
wow.
January. You know, and sometimes it snows there. You know, not very often, but and I'm standing there in shorts and slippers with my big afro. I'm thinking, oh man, this is getting real now. Before they shaved our heads, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Golly. So
Yeah.
you finish up basic and then where?
Uh, I don't know how much detail you want, but my recruiter told me, hey, the scores that you had on this aptitude test, you qualify for any job you want. So just go to basic training and you can pick a job, which is a
Wow.
bold-faced lie. So I get there, and everybody in my flight had jobs lined up. They knew where they're going to go to tech school, and here I am, the one guy, you know, from Hawaii that had nothing. So first, I thought I wanted to be a pararescue guy, uh, and they had to take a swimming test. You had to swim a mile under a certain time, and I nailed that. And then they asked who has uncorrected 20/20 vision, and I didn't raise my hand. They said, "Sorry, you don't qualify." So I had to leave that. And that same day, Kermit, they said, "Hey, you might have to. Do you want to volunteer to take this aptitude test to see if you can learn a foreign language?" And I said, "You know what? Yeah, I'll take it." I took Japanese and French at Kamehameha, you know, Hawaiian, you know. Uh, so the next day they said, "Hey, you did really well on the test. Do you want to volunteer to learn a foreign language?" And I said, "Where's the tech school?" And they said, "Monterey, California, for a year." I said, "I volunteer." Didn't even know what language it was. And they said, "Oh, by the way, it's going to be Russian, and it's a year long course." And I said, "Okay, all right." So I was in Monterey for a year and learned Russian. Uh, really tough, and I had quit so many things in my life. You know, I just said, I'm not going to be known as a quitter. I don't want to be known to have that to be my whatever makeup. So I was determined to get through that course, and I did. Went to San Angelo, Texas, Goodfellow Air Force Base for 6 months, and then I went to Berlin for 4 years.
Wow. So is your Russian pretty good?
You know, it was. We were mostly trained to listen, and obviously, military jargon and specifically Air Force jargon was our specialty. And so you know, we're at a very highly, I'll say, classified. The Germans thought I was a weather station, but we were monitoring Soviet Air Force communications, and we ate their lunch. We really did. We did a really good job. Um, their capabilities and the delivery of new weapon systems and everything. So I felt really proud of what we did in Berlin. And then from Berlin, I went to Fort Walton Beach, Florida, for 3.5 years. Eglin Air Force Base. Very small unit. Did different things. Interesting things, some of them. Met my wife there.
Okay, so she's Florida native.
She's from Georgia, and she was also assigned to Eglin Air Force Base, and we worked right next to each other in different units, but we kind of supported what their unit did, and we got to know each other, and yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
And then you and I managed to sneak out some lunchtime in that would have been early mid 2000s.
Yes.
You remember what year?
Yeah, I think, I went, so let me think about this. I was in, so Eglin 3.5 years. Then from there, we went to Virginia Beach for 2 years. From there, oh man, this is embarrassing. Then we went to Phoenix, Arizona for 3 years. And then to West Palm Beach for 5.5 years. And so we're up to 1998. We moved to Georgia. Then 2001, I went to Hawaii. And that's where I met you. I was working out of the federal building, but I was mostly doing overseas stuff. So I wasn't in the federal building hardly at all. But anyway, we ran into each other. We went to lunch. Yeah. You were working, I think you had managed or owned a driver ed business, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, at that time, you said during your military career, you got to play some sports for them.
I did. Oh man. I know I didn't do anything at Kamehameha. We had Hui, which was, I thought it was great. Got in the Air Force, and I just thought everybody played volleyball, football, basketball, track and field. I mean, I did all these things in the Air Force and had a great time. I mean, really, a really nice time. We ran at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin.
Wow.
We had, because in Berlin they had it was divided in 4 sectors. The Soviets had half of Berlin, and the French, Brits, and Americans, we split in thirds the other half of Berlin. So we had competitions all the time with the Brits and the French. And so basketball, volleyball, swimming. It was like an Olympic thing. I mean, it was a lot of fun. So, but I just thought everyone did stuff outdoors, and we're athletes. And it turned out in the Air Force, I just was able to compete in all these different sports. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool. I mean, yeah, because it's a different world. I mean,
yeah, different world for sure.
Talking about how you assume what the rest of the world does. I told this story to somebody else that was on Zoom with me, but one day I'm in the driver's license office in Dillingham, and I'm start chatting with this Wahini next to me, and she was born in France. France is her first language, but she's been in Hawaii 15 years. And then she said, yeah, but so now it's kind of strange. Sometimes I'll call my mom on the phone and my vocabulary is not as good anymore because she's not talking French every day. And then she goes, and it's really scary because now I'm starting to dream in English. And I stopped and went, shit, I thought the whole world dreamed in English,
Yeah.
Who the hell dreams in French? Oh, the French people. Okay.
Oh. Man, things we take for granted, going through Russian language, having to write Cyrillic every day, it messed up my cursive, first of all. And second of all, when we're trying to learn all the complications of Russian grammar. And our teacher, who came from Russia as a young woman, very Russian. I don't know. Her English wasn't so good, but she said, "No, you have to think in Russian to learn Russian grammar. And how do you do that? How do you flip a switch? I mean, I grew up in Hawaii, and then I'm trying, and now I got to flip the. Oh, it was hard. But yeah, it made me think of that, Kermit, when you said that.
Now, when you graduated high school, did you have a pretty good command of English language structure? Because mine sucked.
Yeah, I mean, enough to get by, I guess. I don't know. And there's a lot of things that command me that they didn't even touch on. Like I hear people talking about uh, like the British monarchs and a lot of the European stuff. We didn't really, I don't remember really even being exposed to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't either. So,
Oh well.
yeah,
No biggie.
because I mean, when it comes to grammar, somebody says dangling participle. I think that's the thing at the back of your throat that they took out when you were a little kid. But
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking of something else dangling, but yeah, that's no need to go there.
So um, in your career, last 50 years, have you done much recreational traveling?
We travel too much. Yes, we do. Especially since I'm retired so long. My DoD job took me to Europe, took me to the Korea, Singapore, Japan. When I was in Hawaii, that's why I wasn't in the federal building very much. I was traveling to those places. Um, but yeah, my wife and I, we've traveled. We used to come to Hawaii about every year, every other year when the kids were growing up, and and then my mom passed 2017, and so the connection there, even though my brother Kik was there, uh, he comes to us now, and we met in Australia last year. He and I, and my mom had been planning this trip to Australia, so we did her. We actually did her trip that she was planning. Her and I
Yeah.
to kind of honor her. But yeah, we travel mostly to Europe a lot.
Do you have a favorite place you've enjoyed the most?
I'd have to say, I know my wife's favorite place is Salzburg, Austria. Sound of music country. Um, I'm kind of partial to, I'll say Germany and Switzerland
Okay.
personally. Yeah,
They rank
there's
they rank above Japan for you?
the Japanese are such respectful, courteous people. I enjoyed traveling there. I'm driving on the left side of the road, no big deal. Um, Very friendly people. I really enjoyed my time there. It's a little expensive, but you can get around that. So yeah, I prefer Europe to the Far East.
I just asked because I've never been to Japan, and in a lot of these talks I've done, Japan pops up as like people are just blown away. They would live there in an instant if they could. So, but then again, you mentioned that Austria, and yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to drop in there and hang out. It just seems like, all that kind of beauty. And, once in a while I'll get on these little internet YouTube journeys when you should be doing something important. And I see places, like these columns of land that come up and then, they're just flat on the top, look like a golf tee almost. And people have built things on top of that, and you're going, how the heck did they even get
How
materials
the
up
heck?
there? Yeah.
Yeah.
And just all over the world, different things. I want to say it's a country that sounds like uh Pakistan but starts with a T, but they have uh the entrance to hell or something it's called. This big
Whoa.
hole that collapsed, and they set it on fire like 70 years ago to burn off the gas that was escaping, and it has not gone out in the last 70 years. It burns
Jeez.
constantly. So I'm going, there's so many things in this world that are out there, and just it'd be nice to just see a couple of them. I mean, it makes the bucket list really long, but
We
it's
went to
nice to have
China
somebody.
right after I retired. We went to China. There's a special airfare thing or whatever. So we went with this other couple. And because bucket list, the Great Wall, the Forbidden Palace, Tiananmen Square, I just thought this would be something. And I don't know, we won't go back. The air pollution was so bad at that time. Maybe it's improved. I don't know. But Westerners, you can't rent a car. They're very restricted. It is a communist country, but they're trying to embrace a little bit of capitalism, I guess. I don't know. But
Wow.
yeah, we it was bucket list, check, check, check. And we don't need to go back. Yeah, that's what I felt
Yeah.
about China.
And then, just as a two-step side note, I was reading something just yesterday that talked about, I think, the either first and second or second and third largest pork producing companies in the United States are owned by the Chinese.
Wow.
So, they won't have to fire a bullet or a missile. They just cut us off and no more steak.
Yeah, yeah. They had their
Or
tentacles everywhere. I mean, it's just a fact. It's true. Yeah,
I think I've heard the highest rated um, rental income properties in New York City are owned by the Chinese.
man.
So, they cut out your meat, they evict you because you're not paying your rent.
They got you. Yeah, I mean, they
Yeah.
got us. Yeah, it's
Uh,
true. In the business I was in as a duty civilian, protecting U.S. technology against Chinese, and they're very good at collecting and then reproducing or manufacturing without having to do all the research and development. They just take our technology, and they're very good about that. Um, so that's a threat. Yeah, there's so many things the Chinese are good at.
yeah. So you have children, I heard you say.
Yes, when we got married, we started living together, Tammy and I, and she had a daughter who was 3 at that time. So she's now 43, I think, with 3 children, 3 grandchildren. So very proud of them. They live right here, probably 3 miles away.
Awesome.
And then our son was born in Arizona, uh, 1990 when we were there, and yeah, so those are our 2 children, and we got the 3 grandkids. And he married this young lady. He went out to Oklahoma State, played football for 4 years, and married this young lady from Oklahoma. And they've decided that they're just probably not going to have children. So I think we're fine with our family, little tiny family that we have.
What are your ages of your grandchildren?
They just turned 16, 15, and 13. All 3 March birthdays.
Wow. So you got a lot of driver's license things happening right around
Yes,
now,
we
huh?
do. Yes, we do.
Come
Uh,
on, Grandpa, take me
oh,
driving.
see, we offer now. We said, hey, when you let us know, and we'll take you out if you want to get away from your parents or whatever. Um, and we'll take you out on the road or a parking lot and just practice, with all kinds of things. And we haven't got the call yet. We're waiting.
I laugh because I tell my wife, my youngest grandchild is 17 now, so they're all the ones that need to be licensed are licensed. But I
Nice.
told her I wanna, as they were learning, I'll show them that clip from John Wick where he gets out on the airport tarmac after hours and just puts that car to his faces.
Man, nice. Yeah, if you can do that, oh, wow. Yeah. Whoa.
Do you guys have harsh winters in Marietta?
We have had our moments. There was, and they don't handle it well here. It's not like Minnesota. You're used to, the snow and you got snow clearing equipment and everything. Here, not so much. So we've had some really, I'll say, stressful times. The one when I retired in January of 2014, my mom came over and got stuck at the airport. They call it now Snowmageddon because it came about midday on a work day, and I tried to let everybody go. It's too late. By the time we heard, it was just too late, and people got stuck. My admin assistant got stuck on the interstate, had to spend the night. It took my 20-minute commute took me 6 hours to get home. But my mom got stuck at the airport, and my wife, much to my chagrin, she went down there and got her the next day, even though they're saying do not get out. If you don't have to get on the roads, don't get on the roads. Well, she went down there and picked her up, and they made it home safely. But that was touchy. But yeah, so that's one example. But we've had other unexpected. We'll get a foot of snow at the most. We don't measure our snow in feet like you do in Minnesota, probably.
Yeah, because like I remember living in San Antonio, extreme heavy rain and very light snow, and it just cripples the town.
Oh man, this ice.
It's like, oh no, we had 3, 4 inches of snow, and the people in Minnesota start laughing their butts off when they hear that. And these guys are maniacs. They are used to it. When I came up in December of 2009, it was like the third or fourth worst blizzard in history.
Wow.
So we make our way home 2.5 hours south of Minneapolis, and we get to this town, Fairmont, population 10,000, and you can see the very tip top of the stop sign sticking out of the snow on the corner, and you're going, so you're trying to creep out, and it's like driving around the edge of a building because you cannot see nothing until you get out there. And people are like driving like it's 80 degrees.
Oh, amazing. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And then, there was one scary moment in the early years where our daughter was driving back from Minneapolis. She had our infant granddaughter, and I think my grandson would have been 4, maybe. She gets tapped by a car in the lane next to her, shoves her into the bank on the side, and her engine dies. And she can't get it restarted. Temperature's like -11. So I'm going, okay, 2 of my grandchildren and my daughter are somewhere out there,
man.
and we call highway patrol. They're telling us basically she's got to stand in line because this is happening all over.
Yeah, I'm sure.
She's not the only one that needs rescuing. So we got out there finally, my son-in-law and I, and just, and you're sitting there not only freezing, but you're on the side of a freeway. So you're like trying to rescue her without swinging your arms too wildly.
I'm getting hit yourself.
Yeah. So we survived that moment. Everybody's fine, but it sticks in my mind so vividly where, that feeling of powerlessness. Yeah. You're like, oh.
Oh, no kidding.
Because once Cammy takes off to the airport, you're out of the picture. You just got to wait for the good news or the bad news on the phone,
Oh, wow.
So you get to see Keikoa every year and a half or something, or?
Yeah, every so often. Like I said, we went last May. We spent a month in Australia together and had a really nice time. I mean, I just spoke to him. Today is my mom's birthday, so would have been her birthday, and so it's kind of a melancholy day for us. Because we have so many shared memories. It was just he and I. So my mom got remarried and had another son, but we were raised together, and so anyway, we just had that conversation. He's with my dad. My dad is in Las Vegas. He's 91 by himself, stubborn. And, he shouldn't be driving, but he's driving and the whole thing, with the elderly parents. And so he's there. We take turns just going out there and taking care of him. So my brother's there right now. And so anyways, yeah, but to answer your question, yeah, I'd like to see more of him. But yeah, we usually see him about every year, at least once a year.
but he actually though legally or whatever you call it, he lives in Hawaii. That's his home
Yeah,
base.
he still lives in Haleiwa. He went away.
Wow.
He went to Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa, of all places. Got his bachelor's and his master's. Went back to Hawaii, and he's working for Bishop Estate. Kamehameha Schools. Was their spokesman? Was their communications? I don't know if he was the director or not, but he retired from Bishop Estate,
Oh, right on.
and he's enjoying his retirement too.
You know, when any of us in our age group use the word retired, I still get kind of struck by it because I'm going, I can clearly remember a few years back going, retirement for old people, you know? And then here we are just tossing the word out like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went to the bank, I had lunch, and I retired. It's
It's
like,
a beautiful thing. I'm not embarrassed or anything to be retired, and um, I I'm proud of my military service, my Department of Defense service, and yeah, I retired at 56, so full retirement, and yeah, I living the life. I don't know what to say, but
did Tammy do the career length in the Air Force?
but she was Air Force. She was in 12 and a half years, and they eliminated like 90% of her career field. And they offered
Whoa.
her an incentive to, she either could have been retrained or took the incentive to get out. And she took the money and ran. Went to work for the VA when we were in West Palm Beach, Florida, Veterans Hospital, and really liked it. She worked for Customs for a while. And then she left federal service, and she's a 100% disabled veteran, not bedridden or in a wheelchair or anything. She just had certain things that were considered to be service connected, and so she's a 100% disabled veteran. So we can travel together, and
That's awesome.
yeah,
You remember Doug Duvashow?
absolutely, Doctor
He just,
Duva.
yeah, he just retired. He was the VA doctor on Kauai for a number of years. So,
Good for him.
and in the last 2 or 3 years, as we were talking about it, I kept telling him, you know, do it, just retire. And he goes, yeah, but I mean, they don't have a large staff, and these veterans are coming in and needing the service. And I said, well, I mean, it's great to have that concern, but you're not gonna, you're not the only guy there to save them or whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, you
Well,
gotta.
I always felt, and I saw him at the 20th reunion. That's the only other reunion I went to was the 20th. And I actually stayed in the dorms for a couple of nights, but it was really disappointing because the only guy that I remember from our dorm was Duva, and he was there, and I got to talk to him, and I spent more time talking to Blaine Geisen because he was there with Donna Biondine,
Oh, okay, okay.
and so we were there at different. They had all these events during the week, the classmate night, talent night, the church service, and memorial service, and all this thing. So anyway, I saw Blaine several times, and I was talking to him. We had several classes together, played water polo, in the PE and stuff. Anyway, so Duva, Dr. Duva, it was so good to see him. Thank goodness he was there, because otherwise it would have been nobody there from our dorm.
Wow. Yeah, it's I just found out too. I confirmed details so I would know where to go and what to do, but I'm staying in the dorms for the reunion,
Oh wow,
but it's the intermediate dorms.
huh? Okay,
And it has a name I don't recognize. So when I show up, I'm gonna have to start knocking on doors or follow the crowd or something, because I don't know, I don't even know with the way campus looks today.
yeah,
I mean, I don't even know if those original buildings you and I were in are even there.
yeah. I wouldn't know either. I try to drive through the campus every time I'm home, but I haven't been home since my mom passed. So yeah, wow. When she was class of '55, so her class, since they do the 5 and the 0, her class when I was there in the 20th, they were all there. I mean, they had like 50 people in the dorms.
Wow. And then I was reading the fine print, and I guess campus kind of shut down at 10 p.m. So
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm actually gonna physically stay in the dorms all 3 nights because I
And Kermit,
mean,
I have to warn you now. I don't know. Have you stayed there before since you graduated? As I remember now, this is 30 years ago. Zero air conditioning.
ugh.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I guess we survived 6 years of no AC, so
But we were acclimated to it though.
yeah.
I,
Because I
I
noticed
just
that when I first go home for a visit, the first 48 hours, if it, I sweat like a pig
yeah,
just
yeah,
because, I mean, and it's not humid really. It's just, I don't know, it's just warmer than
yeah,
my body's used to
yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. It just changes. Yeah, I
I mean,
think
I
so.
walk
So,
from the plane to the baggage claim and it's,
sweating. Yeah.
yeah,
So you're gonna go to classmate night and the luau?
yeah.
Okay, good. Because
I,
I we're gonna be there. We leave Wednesday. We're gonna
so
stay
do
in.
I arrive midday Wednesday.
Oh wow. We're staying in this beach house right next to the house I grew up in. They're vacation rentals now, mostly on that side in Haliva. Um, and it's a two-story building that we used to know those people that live there. But anyway, now it's a vacation rental, so we're renting it. We're taking all nine of us are going, and we're going to stay there for.
9 being who you counting?
So my son and his wife, daughter, her husband, three grandchildren, and my wife.
Okay.
Um, so we're literally looking down the house that Keiko and I grew up in, and it's gonna
Have
be
your kids been there to see that
yes,
your
yeah,
early
yeah, we used to go every year.
environment?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so they know. I'm just very comfortable there. I'm just gonna plan on planning myself out there for. They're gonna only be there a week, week and a half, and then they're coming back, and then this other couple's coming. We're gonna go to Halikoa and then go to the Big Island for one night and come back. I'm gonna go to classmate night and then luau, and we leave to come back the next day.
Oh, right on. That sounds good.
Yeah, so I'll look forward to seeing you at both of those things. If I
Yeah.
don't show up, no, Kermit, it's nothing personal. I'm still kind of missing these people, and I don't know.
Yeah, you'll be fine. I was on the phone with Richard Apiki last night,
Oh, geez.
and he's coming to class tonight. And I just, with all of these things that I've done, you watch some of them, you find out little maybe connections with people that you really didn't interact with that much, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know them, or you went to school here, or because Richard Apiki's wife, she's passed now, but they were married 46 years,
Wow.
and she was best friends in high school. They were class of 76 or 77. I can't remember what. I have a first cousin that got into Kamehameha in 10th grade. And my cousin and Richard's wife were really tight in high school. So
Wow.
now when I talk to my cousin, she goes, oh yeah, knew her forever, BFFs and this and that. And I'm going, wow. And that's my classmate, was
Nice.
my classmate's wife. So it's like, it's wild, for the more shy ones that happen to be listening. Sometimes as I ask people to join me on this, they'll say, there was nothing exciting. My life is boring. Nobody wants to hear it. But every single person I've sat down with has had something going on. I mean, it's you don't live 50 years after high school and do nothing but burp and eat. I mean, there's something there, some connection, and it's helped put high school and the connections back together because Jeff Noah and Daryl Yasutaki had a connection in high school, lost track over the last 50 years. And then I Zoomed with both of them, and now they're hooked back up together and
Oh,
talking. And,
man.
because
Nice.
you start to hear a little bit and you go, man, I've always wondered,
Yeah, yeah,
where's he gone? What's he been doing? Is he married? Does he have grandkids? And so I try to answer those questions as we go, and it's like it works out really, really neat. So,
yeah. It's good. It's so good. You took this on.
and then this is kind of an announcement for the audience, but Michael Crabb also has a program set up, and he should have it posted on the class Facebook site. He's putting out a couple of different T-shirts than what the class primarily has offered, along with ball caps. So people go look for that. You can be fully wardrobe for the next 5 years with all this stuff we have offering to us. So check that stuff out. Um, Again, these are really fun to do. If I contact you, say yes, please. If I don't get around to your name, but you want to, hey, get in touch with me. We'll put it together. We'll have
Nice.
a good time. So,
Oh yeah, always.
um, I look forward to this, man. Seeing you. I think back to a lot of our times back in eighth grade, and being roommates and all the
Yeah,
wild things that went on, and actually the whole high school experience. But for some reason, seventh and eighth grade, I guess that was like the beginning. Patrick Choi and I were talking about seventh grade year, and how long did your homesickness last, or how
oh,
long did, you know, and he was making comments about, um, did you know Mrs. Lokar?
yes.
He used to say he used to make up excuses for her to come in his room, but he could look at her teeth while she bent over. I thought, you know, seventh grade. I mean, you got hormones pouring out of every
Well,
opening in your body. So,
I think about that a lot. I mean, this is because I think about my grandchildren. They're in that age now to be taken from home and to be away from home. You guys in the Outer Islands had it so hard. I could go home to Haleiwa, maybe not every weekend, but you know, not not have to wait for holidays to go home. Uh, that's got to be tough on the families and on the child. And I don't know how you guys did that. That's hard.
yeah, I see that too with my grandkids. I mean, my second oldest grandson's 26. He still lives with me and my wife. My oldest granddaughter's 23. She lives next door to her mom.
Yeah.
So, and just the thought of, I see how much interaction there is with mom. I need this, and go walk in the house and go get it. Whereas in another situation, they'd have to go figure out, I guess I got to go run store and buy it because I don't
Yeah.
have it.
Oh, I know. I know.
So that whole Ohana Circle thing and
Yeah.
the experiences, I reflect with some people from my first year of college. We got there, we walked in the dormitory, found our room assignments off a sign on the wall, had our beds made, unpacked, rice cooker going, you know, spam frying. Me and Doug DeWichelle are breaking into the kitchen to get cutlery and plates,
Oh
and
man.
and everybody else probably first time ever away from home,
Yeah. Yeah.
wandering the halls with suitcases in hand, no clue. For the first 2 3 months, you see them walking around with pink bibbities and pink t-shirts, and I mean, and by senior year, we had already been doing that 6 years. I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh man.
so it was an education and funny along the way. So it was like,
Hey, now speaking of, so where do we get your story, Kermit? I mean, you're kind of exposing all of us now. We want to hear your story.
well, I sat with Mike Crabb and talked to him. I guess maybe earlier this week. I can't. It all flows together. But
Yeah. Sure.
once I exhaust our student body and nobody else is willing to say yes, I'll sit down with him and we'll go over it. But my life is so boring. There's nothing
Oh,
to
see, yeah, there. No, that, no, 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 no. We want to hear it.
it's earmarked. for at the end of the list, I can be the big exclamation point or
Good.
something
All
at the
right.
end
Look
or
forward to
whatever.
that.
So, brother, thanks for sitting with me, man. I really appreciate this. Good to see you again.
Yeah, I can see you. A lot of good memories, Kermit. Oh
Yeah,
man, we
and
go
I mean,
back a long time.
it sounds like it's all going good. Health wise, you're doing well.
Yeah, I had a really bad scare. 2016, stage 4 cancer, oral cancer. I had stuff done in my face and over here and blah blah blah. But yeah, hey, still standing. So we all have something going on. So
Yeah. So you get you have access to Facebook to watch the other ones, right?
yes, I do.
Okay. Because I also wanted to bring up, I almost forgot. I'm starting to also take all of these recordings and put them on my YouTube page. So I put that link on the Kamehameha Facebook page for those of us that are not Facebook savvy or Facebook uh, don't have Facebook access. So at least, but building that's going to be slow because this consumes a lot of my calendar. So
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
that's kind of like I'll put one or two a week, maybe three a week, and but just stick with me. They'll be on there for everyone to see and watch. So,
All right, I'm stuck.
my brother, couple weeks, man.
I look forward to it, Kermit. Really. Thank you for doing this.
Aloha, brother.
Okay, aloha.